Hey everyone, I'm Mine. This is set number 80034, Nezha's Fire Ring from the LEGO Monkie Kid theme. I apologize that I'm pronouncing that wrong. I looked up the pronunciation, but it probably isn't perfect. But anyway, this set comes with 929 pieces, 7 minifigures, and retails for $99.99 in the US. This set doesn't come out until January 1st, 2022, but it was sent to me early by the LEGO group through the LEGO Ambassador Network while opinions expressed in this video are my own. I'm also doing early reviews of most of the other January 2022 LEGO Monkie Kid sets, so if you're interested in those, go check out the channel and subscribe, so that when those reviews are posted, you'll get them right in your subscription box. But with all that being said, let's get on to the review. So there's 3 main builds in the set, as well as some smaller ones. We have Lady Bo Demon's Throne, this jet from Macaque, and then of course the titular fire ring. So we'll take a look at each of them one by one, and I guess we'll start with the fire ring. So the fire ring is weird. It's cool, and I like it a lot, but it's very, very weird. So it uses these roller coaster track pieces to create the ring itself, and there's lots of this trans orange juice all throughout it to show that it's like flaming. And if you grab this thing at the center, you can actually roll this along the ground. The vehicle in the center can stay balanced, but the ring actually works as a proper wheel. That's so cool and so much fun, and it's just super, super creative. This thing is able to balance pretty well, which I'm impressed by because I was a little bit worried about that seeing the official pictures, but yeah, you can see I'm able to spin that thing and it's not going to topple over. The ring's like actually very sturdy. Moving up a little closer, take a look at the vehicle itself. You can see there's lots of sticker pieces right here showing like fire flowing all throughout it. You have this red like diamond right here with this gold circle in the middle. More of those stickered parts. And then on the very end, you have all of these fire thrusters that I guess project out the back to just thrust this thing forward very quickly. I think that looks super cool seeing all this fire here. Like, obviously they've used fire for thrusters many times before, but just so much of it here is awesome. They use a ton of this new fire piece. This is used on, like, the collectible rings that come in sets. But it's used all over this build, and I think it looks great. These ones at the back are also on ball joints, so you can move them around if you want. So if you want to have, like, the vehicle turning, actually move these to one direction to make it look like it's actually, like, changing directions a little bit, I guess. And I also found these fire pieces very interesting. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't buy themes like LEGO City, so maybe this was introduced there. But these fire pieces are a solid color. Like, last I remember, they were more gradient, like of like a darker red to an orange, or even a darker orange to a lighter orange. But no, these are just one solid trans orange color. It looks strange to me. I wasn't really familiar with that. Again, like I said, I don't know if this is new for this set, or if that was introduced with like LEGO City or something. But it's a really interesting look, and overall, I'm not sure what to think of it. I think it looks really good here, just the way like this thing is designed. But overall, I'm not sure if I prefer this or the way they used to do it. The other side of the vehicle is designed exactly the same. Everything's just mirrored. Something I didn't point out on the other side, there's more stickers with fire underneath them here. And these newer fire pieces on the sides are actually on hinges, so you can move them if you want. Up here we have the little cockpit. I love like the trans orange windshield for Nezha. I think it fits this entire vehicle perfectly. And then instead of a steering wheel, he actually has a ring, which I think is really funny and fits him perfectly. And then he just has this nice teal seat in the back. At the front we have 2 spring-load shooters. So if you push down right here, that has a little bit of trans orange to actually shoot the spring-load shooters out. And then moving to the ring itself, as I said, it's built using roller coaster tracks, which is really cool. It's double-sided, so obviously there's roller coaster tracks on both sides. But I think the cooler part's actually what's inside. So they use that new fire piece like I mentioned, but they also just use a ton of other trans orange pieces, 1x1s, 1x2 tiles, and cheese slopes. But then there's an interesting new recolor in here too that I've never seen before. I don't know if you can tell what part that is, but that's a 1x2x2 with a 2x2 on each side of it. Maybe it's easier to just take it apart and show you. But yeah, this is obviously a very old part, but I've never seen it in any transparent color, and especially not trans orange. So it's very cool to get that here. Definitely could see that being very useful for mocks and whatnot. And you get quite a few of it in this set, so that's very cool to see. But yeah, that's about it for the ring itself. You have this section without that piece and the section with that piece, and then it just repeats over and over again. There's 2 distinct different builds, but they're very similar to each other. And then, of course, it's just the roller coaster tracks. So I think that's about all I have to say on the fire ring itself, so now let's move on to the other builds. Lady Bo Demon's Throne is quite small and quite simple, but it does look good. I like these like jagged purple stairs leading to the top. I feel like that fits her pretty well. The overall aesthetic reminds me a lot of like Garmadon's Dark Fortress from 2011 Ninjago, so it's cool to see something like that again. The only difference is there's a bit of trans blue used here. It's cool to see those trans blue candle pieces, though I believe those were introduced with the Mandalorian Forge this year, so it's cool to see they're continuing to use them next year. You obviously have the throne itself at the top, which has lots of bones coming off of it, as well as these 3 spikes at the top. And then there's this little bone cage on the side where you can trap an enemy named like Monkey King. He's the one who always seems to get trapped. I like these little skulls at the front. They're on the top of like astromech droid heads from Star Wars, and I think that's a really creative parts usage. It actually incorporates it really well into all of this. There's bones held by clips along the sides. Around the back, there's a little jail cell, which you can fit somebody in if you want. And then, of course, there's the bone cage. So this is a cage design they've done many times before. I think there was a very similar cage in, like, Master of the Mountain from Ninjago. But you can see it's held up by this trans blue chain. You can see it's held up by this piece in the back, which you can turn. And by turning it, you can either lower the cage, or you can raise the cage. The cage itself can hold a minifigure, however, I have to say it is a bit of a tight fit to do what they show like on the box. On the box, they have Monkey King in the cage standing up connected to the studs, and that is possible, but you really have to force him in there and get him in there perfectly, because his hair like gets caught up on the roof of this thing. So if you mess with it enough, you could probably get it. There we go, that's him in, but it's definitely a very, very tight fit. It's not the most convenient. If you just want to place him in there and just like not have him attached to anything, it's not that bad. But if you want to actually attach him to the studs, it's not the most fun for play. And there you can have Lady Bo Demon on top of her throne with a prisoner in the cage. But that's about it for this build. Overall, I like it. I think it's a fun side build. The colors are definitely super cool. I think that's my favorite part, but I don't have much else to say about it. And then finally, in terms of the big builds, we have this flyer from Macaque. And this thing is okay. I honestly don't care too much for it. There's definitely some cool things about it, namely these trans purple pieces out the back. These are the Monkie Kid cloud pieces, which I believe previously we've only gotten in white. They're actually recolored in trans purple here, and it looks absolutely awesome. This is one of my favorite new parts from this weight. I think it looks so cool. But those just represent exhaust for the jets of the vehicle, but the vehicle itself is just okay. We have a few of the newer stud shooters on this build that were introduced with the latest Batman wave from this year. They are in gunmetal gray here and actually integrated pretty well. I don't feel like they take away from the build at all, which is something that stud shooters usually do, so that's actually pretty impressive. But yeah, of course with these you can push down the top right here and a stud will fly out. For this vehicle it uses trans purple studs. You got a stickered piece with a Macaque symbol around the side. I like how they did the front of this. I think that's pretty cool looking. Very similar stickered piece on the other side, as well as a stickered yellow stripe at the top. The like turbines on the side have a printed fan piece in the middle. That's not new, but it's always nice to get. And I believe this right here is like a CCBS armor part. I'm actually kind of surprised to see that still coming in sets, but hey, it works really well here. It adds some nice texture, so I like it. And then you have these tiny stickered wings on the sides. And all of that's pretty much the same on the other side. It also has these clips on the side to hold Macaque's staff when he's riding on the vehicle, which I really appreciate. I love seeing ways to store accessories when you're not using them, and I think this is the perfect way to do it. And here's where Macaque sits, or I guess stands. You can just slide him onto this piece right here, attach the staff to the side, and there's how he looks actually driving the vehicle. Out the back, we have two more stickered wing pieces, as well as these parts that extend out. These are fishing rod pieces, which are really interesting, but I think they look good. And then there's this little wing piece at the back, which is on a hinge, so you can move it up if you want. And that just exposes a little piece underneath there. But that's it for Macaque's jet. Overall, it's fine. It's definitely my least favorite build in this set, but I think it's cute enough. And I love Macaque, so getting more Macaque stuff is always cool to see. But I do think the build itself is nothing all too special, though those purple pieces are definitely very cool. Then we have this little flying staff for MK. This is very simple. It has a staff, which is made out of candle pieces, which is really cool. There's two of the newer stud shooters on the side in gold, so you can shoot those out, and it shoots out red studs. It's on top of a little cloud to show that he's flying, and there's how he looks actually riding it. And then you just get two extra big fire pieces that can just sit on the ground like this. You can imagine these were left behind by the Inferno Ring, or they were shot out by the spring-load shooters on the Inferno Ring. It's up to your imagination, but they're always a cool inclusion. These are great parts, and it's nice to get extras here. Here are the first two minifigures in the set. We have Monkey Kid and we have Monkey King. This version of MK is really cool. It's exclusive to the set, at least as of this point. And it's just so different. He's got like an Iron Man suit on. That's at least what it reminds me of. He's got this Chinese character in the middle of his outfit, which is the same one that used to be on the back, which is just like regular torso. He's got this all-new armored arm printing, this armor piece at the top, and then this super detailed printing, which just looks like a full armored suit. He also has this all-new face print with this red visor with these gold edges on the sides. Yeah, it's super unique, but I absolutely love it. I think it looks so cool. In terms of accessories, he comes with the orange fire ring. These fire rings are like the collectibles of this wave of LEGO Monkie Kid. The orange one's actually the most common one. It comes in a very cheap set, as well as this set, as well as the set that comes with all the rings. And as you saw in this set, like, you get a ton of this fire piece, so even if you didn't get this ring in the set, you could very easily customize to make this ring. So it's not too special to get. Nice to get the collectible, but it's nothing too amazing here. But removing that, now you can get a better look at this Monkey Kid outfit, and I just think it's so cool. I'm genuinely just so impressed by how insanely detailed this is. I think the arm printing really ties it all together, but just the colors too. I love the little touches of teal on it, but also the bright orange, the gold, and obviously the red. All comes together, just looks super nice. There he is with his armor and hair removed, so you can better look at that face print. There's a closer look at that arm print too. You can see he's got like this golden armor at the top, and then like this teal, and then red. The red looks like it's almost a robot arm connecting to his hand. Very interesting. I think it looks great. Very similar design on the other side too. And there's his alternate face as well as his back torso print. I'm actually a little bit disappointed by the alternate face because it's already an existing face print. If you're gonna bother like making a new head with one new face print, why put an existing one on the back? Why not give us two new face prints? That's what LEGO usually does. If we get one new face print, we're getting two. But this time around, they just recycled the alternate face for another head, which is a little disappointing to see. Monkey Kid does already have a ton of expression, so we don't really need a new one here. But if you're making a new head anyway, I don't see why not make a new alternate face for him too. But that's a little thing. The one new face we did get is very good. And yeah, there's that back torso print. Once again, very detailed, reminds me a lot of like Iron Man or even like LEGO Nexo Knights. It gives me like the vibes of. But that's about all I have to say for him. And then this version of Monkey King has actually become very common. I think this is one of 4 sets he comes in now. Cool to get Monkey King because obviously he's a very significant character who usually only comes in very expensive sets. And yeah, he's pretty good. This is far from my favorite version of Monkey King, but it's a nice just like generic version of him. He's got his like classic smiling face and then the monkey head attachment obviously. I love the tailpiece that's printing out the front so it creates an easy transition between the torso and the legs. His legs are also dual molded and side printed, which is very cool to see. And then around the back he has his monkey tail, a little bit of teal, and then his alternate face. Not much else to say on him. He's a good figure, a great character to get, but it is one of the simpler versions of him. And then we have Nezha, or Nezha, or Nezha, or however it's pronounced. But anyway, he's a new character for this set, and he is super, super cool. Right off the bat, I want to mention this first so I can remove it just because it's really obnoxious. You can see as he fell because of it right there. He has these rings attached to his feet, which I believe is part of the original legend that like this character is based off of. He's got these rings attached to his feet with this fire coming out. And this is not one solid build. They're attached to each individual foot, so if you want, you can have him like running with the rings on his feet. Very hard to display him like on any actual builds or anything because this isn't like, doesn't attach to anything, but it definitely looks cool and it's a fun option to have. But I'm going to remove those now because they're very hard to review the minifigure with those attached. With those removed though, there you can have a better look at the figure, and this guy's super, super cool. So right off the bat, the first thing I noticed is this lavender color. I think that looks awesome. It fits in really well with the teal, especially on the pants. And he uses like the Legacy Skulkin armor piece from Ninjago in that lavender color here, and I think that looks awesome. It's a color that LEGO doesn't use too often. The last time I can think of is with the Keepers from Ninjago. But I feel like it's implemented perfectly here. I love it. You can see he's got like that golden armor in his torso as well, these sleeveless arms. And then perhaps the coolest part is this cape out the back. It just has 2 strands going to different sides. Very, very unique. LEGO is usually very samey with their capes. Sometimes they mix it up a little bit, but I've never seen them mix it up this much. This is super unique, unlike anything I had before, and I love it. I hope this is indicative of LEGO doing more things like this in the future, because I think it's super, super cool. And then you can see his back torso print as well, where you can see his shirt's like tied off at the back, and more of that golden armor that kind of has like a fiery aesthetic to it. His accessory is also this brick-built spear with this little flag at the top and this tassel at the bottom. And he's got an all-new hairpiece too, with 2 buns at the top and then a little bit of hair coming out the bottom. Yeah, I think overall this guy's really great. Good face print too. He's got these 2 like red dots at the top of his head and then just like a slight, I guess, smirk that is. He feels like very royal to me. This feels like a legendary character. Like, I don't know, it's something about him. I just love it. Removing his armor and cape and everything though, there's a better look at that face print. And there's his alternate face, which honestly does not change too much. It looks very similar, just now he's angry. Reminds me a lot of MK, actually. That looks a lot like an MK face. The next 2 minifigures in the set are Macaque and a Shadow Monkey. The Shadow Monkey is called Savage in this set, but all the Shadow Monkeys are the same, so I'm just going to refer to him as a Shadow Monkey. This new version of Macaque, though, is incredible. Like, oh my goodness. The original was really, really good, but this one just took it one step further. The original version was one of my favorite minifigures of this year, but yeah, this guy just goes above and beyond that. Something cool is he now actually has 6 ears, which I know is a part of the original legend that this guy's based on, so that's really cool that they finally translated that over into his minifigure, because the original version did not have that. He's got this scarf piece in dark red, which I believe is a recolor of the LEGO Movie 2 Wild Style scarf piece, so that's cool to see that part's being reused. And then that transitions into another cape, which is very similar to the one he had before, but once again, as I said, it's just cool to get it again. This is just a great minifigure. Tail at the back, of course, he is a monkey. And this time around, he does have a brick-built staff, which looks perfect to me. It uses a combination of gears and trans-purple, like, lightsaber blades, and then just, like, the staff hilt in the middle. And I think this is about as close as you could get to how his staff looks in the show. I'm very impressed by it. He also has, like, this ribbon attachment coming out his head at the top. I believe Monkey Kings had that before, so it's cool to see Macaque gets it now, too. And then his torso and legs look great. It uses silver and orange and red. And the face print seems more accurate to the show than the previous one was. The previous one was really good, but this one seems to capture Macaque's personality a little bit better. There he is with everything removed, so you can get a better look at that face print. And there's his alternate face as well as his back torso print. You can see with his alternate face, he's just got a slight smile. And that's how that looks with his hair, like, actually attached. Yeah, overall, I love this minifigure. I think it is super, super well done. And then the Shadow Monkeys are alright. I don't dislike them. I think the idea of evil monkeys is very funny, and I like the, like, smoky effect on the torso and everything. But I don't know, these guys just seem a little bit lame to me. You've got, like, Macaque's logo on the torso. I think the biggest thing is the lack of any leg printing here. The red just sort of cuts off. I think if that smoky effect continued up from the legs, that would look really, really cool. But as it stands, especially compared to like the other Monkey Kid figures, these just feel a little lackluster. They remind me a lot of the Demon Bull clones from Wave 1. They're definitely a little bit better, but not by much. The colors are definitely fun though. Black and red looks really good, and I love getting like the monkey ears in red. That's very fun to have. There's the back torso print on him. I feel like a lot of the time when I'm very lukewarm on a figure, a lot of the times I will end up liking the back torso print more than a front torso print, and that is definitely the case here. I think the back torso print is a lot better than the front was. But unfortunately, no alternate face or anything for this guy. Hey, real quick, in editing mind here, I just realized I accidentally grabbed the wrong figures when filming this part of the review. I accidentally grabbed the Shadow Monkey and Macaque from the Macaque Mech instead of from this set, and there's only two small differences, so I'm just going to show you what they are now. The Shadow Monkey in this set comes with this like purple club weapon. It uses like the Monkie Kid staff piece in black as the hilt, and the club itself looks really cool. I feel like it fits with Macaque really well, but it's a pretty simple build overall. And then in the set, Macaque has a curved monkey tail. The one I've had so far in this video and the one that comes in the Macaque Mech has a straight tail. But yeah, this is what the proper curved tail that comes in this set looks like. Oh, also, this piece comes in both sets, but it must have fallen off or something while filming because I did not include it in the review. But yeah, there's also this purple fire piece coming off. This is the same fire piece that's on the different rings, though the purple is never used in any of the rings. And it just gives this cool, like, shadowy effect to Macaque's staff. I really like that part, super cool to get. But yeah, everything else about the figures is exactly identical to the stuff I already filmed, so I'm just going to go back to that footage now. And then finally, in terms of minifigures, we have Lady Bone Demon and we have a skeleton. Lady Bone Demon is the same exact one that came in the Bone Demon set from this year, but once again, she is a very good figure. The hairpiece is super detailed. Like, I'm blown away by how detailed that hairpiece is. And the torso and dress designs are just super intricate and everything. She has that, like, creepy demon feel. And she's got a new staff this time around. It has, like, the Monkie Kid hilt piece with, like, a harpoon coming out and then a Ninjago Lloyd sword at the top. Very weird combination of parts, but I think it works pretty well for her, actually. And then something I was actually very surprised by, the bone in her hair is actually still glow in the dark. I was expecting because all the other bones of this set weren't glow in the dark that they wouldn't bother making this glow in the dark again like on the original. But no, it still is glow in the dark, so that's still very cool to see. So yeah, this is exactly identical to the Lady Bone Demon from the Bone Demon set. Including the fact that she comes with an alternate leg piece. So if you want to turn her into more of a ghostly spirit instead of being a lady in a dress, you can. Personally, I much prefer the dress just because it's more detailed, but if this is something you want to do, that is an option because this is included with this set. She also has her alternate face where she turns a lot more creepy. But there's that face print with the hair removed, and there's the back torso print. I love like that spine design, I think it looks super cool, and there's the alternate face again. And if you're curious what the back of the hair looks like, there you go, you can see more of those bones continue throughout. Very, very cool part. And then the skeleton is just a skeleton. It's a classic LEGO skeleton. I think he's very funny. I always love to get him. I don't know, just something about him. He's just so goofy. I love getting him here, but there's not much to say about him. So, what are my overall thoughts on this set? Overall, I really, really like this one, especially like the main build of the set, the Inferno Ring. I think that build's awesome. I feel like it has it all. It looks really cool. It's a creative and very fun building experience. It's very stable, and I can imagine it being very fun to play with, too. And then in terms of the side builds, so I'm not the biggest fan of the Macaque yet. I do really like the Lady Bone Demon throne. And the minifigure selection here is pretty incredible as well. You get Macaque, you get Lady Bone Demon, you get Monkey King, this awesome new exclusive version of Monkie Kid, Nezha. The one big negative of this set, though, is the price. The price is just a little bit too expensive. It's not as bad as some other sets, but it could definitely be better. This feels like a very solid $80 or $90 set, but in my opinion, having this in hand, $100 seems to be pushing it a little bit too far. That being said, it's not a terrible price. Like, if you do pay $100 for it, I think it's fine for that price. But LEGO is definitely overcharging for this one, and that makes me disappointed to see. That being said, Monkie Kid sets are now sold on Amazon, so maybe this will go 20% off at some point, and if so, that would be a really good deal for this set. So as a whole, yes, I would recommend it. The price is a little bit high, but if you don't mind paying a higher price or you wait till it's on sale, then 100% I would recommend it. This is an excellent Monkie Kid set. The build is very, very fun. You get a ton of cool minifigures. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm doing early reviews of most of the other January 2022 LEGO Monkie Kid sets right now. So if you go check out my channel and subscribe, you can see all the other early Monkie Kid reviews I've already posted, and you'll get all the other ones in your subscription box as soon as I upload them. But as for this video, I think that's going to do it. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed, please press like and subscribe if you're new. I do LEGO videos like this almost every day, so if you subscribe, you'll be the first to see them. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.